Have you ever experienced stage fright? You know, the butterflies in the stomach, the shaky hands, sweaty palms, maybe rapid breathing. It's not fun. And it's very common when it comes to public speaking, but it happens in other areas as well. And it's called performance anxiety. I remember many years ago when my children were teenagers, I experienced it when I wanted to encourage them in some activities by joining in with them. Taekwondo and learning the piano. I felt like I had two left feet in Taekwondo and two left hands when it came to the piano. I was neither physically nor musically gifted. So when it came time to perform, I had some stage fright. But learning to work through that, beginning public speaking, and then coaching others in communication have let me learn a few techniques that work for me and others to help you break that stage fright barrier. Yes, you can break the stage fright barrier. I'll be sharing with you today 10 techniques. Now, I have them in two categories, physical and mental. In the physical category, we have practice and rehearse, frequent exposure, increasing difficulty, just breathe, progressive muscle relaxation, confident body language, and then mental techniques. Focus on having fun in the present, focus on others, visualization, positive self-talk, and reframe failure. Let's go through these. Technique number one, practice and rehearse. This is the most obvious one, but how you practice matters. Remember, you're looking for progress, not perfection. Perfection is unattainable. You just want excellence, or maybe sometimes good enough. Then there is what you need to practice the most, the beginning, the end, and the most difficult parts. If you're giving a speech, I'd also say practice the transitions as well. And then do a dress rehearsal. Try to do a practice that is really as much like the real thing as you can. Years ago, I helped a 16-year-old girl prepare for a TED Talk. And the last thing we did was have her do a rehearsal at a library in front of family and friends. And that made a big difference to her confidence. Technique number two, frequent exposure, increasing difficulty. Yeah, this is the scary one, but I have found this particular technique to be the number one most important technique for me and others, because you need to face your fear. Action conquers fear, but you don't have to do it all at once. You can take baby steps. Like with public speaking, I started out in Toastmasters, very supportive. And then I gave some presentations in other groups that I belonged to, very friendly groups, before I moved to outside groups. Take baby steps, but don't stay there. Celebrate those baby steps, but continue to push yourself. Continue to make things a little more difficult. Technique number three, just breathe. I have found that if you are feeling very flustered, sometimes focusing on a single breath can make a difference. If you have a little bit of time, you can get comfortable. Maybe you're sitting at a meeting or you're standing, getting ready to speak. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. And if you have more time, you might even try combat breathing, also called box breathing. This is a technique that soldiers would use in wartime to regain control of their thinking. And it is just like a box where you breathe in for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and hold your breath for a count of 4. If you have time, you can repeat it. Just breathe. Technique number 4, progressive muscle relaxation. Now, this is not something you're going to do in front of other people. So you would only do this if you had some privacy. You want to find a comfortable place. And then you want to tense and relax your muscles from top to bottom. Maybe start with your forehead or the top of your head and tense the muscle and then relax. Go down to your eyes, your cheek, your jaw, your neck, all the way to your toes. This will take probably less than 5 minutes. And remember to take deep breaths while you're doing it. This is also a great way to fall asleep if you've had a tense day as well. Technique number 5, confident body language. You've probably heard of power posing. That's where you make an expansive pose like V for victory or the Superman pose and hold it for a couple of minutes. Research has shown that you will feel more powerful and confident when you do that. You also want to stand tall during your presentation and before. Don't spend much time looking down at your phone before you're going to perform, because that downward gaze will not help you feel more confident. Then, right before you perform, make eye contact with your audience and smile, unless smiling is inappropriate. But usually smiling is appropriate, and it will engage your audience and relax you as well. Technique number 6, focus on having fun in the present. Remember, you won't die. You might feel like you're going to die, but you won't die. Make it a game. Maybe not every part of the performance is fun, but focus on the fun parts and enjoy it like you would a game. Do not ruminate about the past or worry about the future. It will take you out of the present. It will affect your performance. Be present for your audience. Technique number 7, focus on others. This was something I learned several years ago when I was in a Toastmaster speech competition. I had memorized my 5 to 7 minute speech and I was killing it until I wasn't. I blanked out. A few seconds later, the words came back to me. I continued on, but needless to say, I didn't win. I didn't even place. However, I gained 2 important lessons. The first was that it's not a good idea to memorize a speech because you create a rut for your mind. You have only one path to go on. And if something throws you off that path, you have no alternate paths. You've never practiced saying it a little bit differently. So instead of memorize, internalize. Internalize your speech by allowing yourself to practice it and say it a few different ways. The second lesson I learned was to give the audience a gift. I had spent too much time, and I didn't even realize it, worrying about how I would be judged, that if I messed up, people would think badly of me. I realized that that was selfish. I was focusing on me. Instead, I needed to focus on my performance being a gift for the audience. Focus on giving a gift. And sometimes you can focus on helping others do well. If you're part of a team or other people are also performing, encourage them. When I was testing for my black belt in karate, a 10-year-old girl was testing too, and she was so nervous. So I focused on helping her feel confident, feel excited, and feel that she could do it. And we both did. And I had way less worry for myself. Remember, it's usually not all about you, and people aren't going to focus that much on your performance typically. It'll be forgotten very soon as they get busy with their lives. Technique number 8, visualization. If you can, close your eyes in a quiet place. And then imagine and visualize what you look like, how you move, maybe how you sound for a successful performance, but also visualize a responsive audience that is engaged with your performance. If your mind can think it, you can achieve it. Technique number 9, positive self-talk. Are you saying negative things or thinking negative things like, oh, I'm not very good at whatever this is. I'm not good at public speaking. I say too many ums. I might forget what I'm going to say. Well, identify that negative self-talk and eliminate it. Replace it with positive affirmations, statements that are things that you want to be. So I sometimes will combine positive affirmations with visualization and confident body language right before I speak. I will hop into a restroom and I will do the Wonder Woman pose because I don't really want people to see my hands above the stall. And then I will visualize a successful performance, the audience being receptive. And in my mind, I'll do it out loud if no one's around, but I will think or say, I am smart. I am powerful. I can make a difference. And I'll repeat this for a minute or two. And by the time it's done, I burst out of that stall like Superman with a whole new confident attitude. You can also, instead of saying, relax, you can say instead, I'm excited. Turn that nervous energy not into relaxing. You really don't want to relax. You want to be excited so that you have energy for the performance. Technique number 10, the last technique, reframe failure as learning. I would first say, don't let failure go to waste. If you fail and you don't learn something from it, you have let the failure go to waste. Dig deep for those nuggets of wisdom that you can apply next time. Think of failure not as a stumbling block, but a stepping stone to your growth. The real loser isn't the one who fails. It's the one who fails to try. Try, learn, and achieve. Rethink this list. Which techniques will you try to break your stage fright barrier?